Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to be doing talk analysis on Bitcoin US dollar, starting from the 1 week time frame. So as usual, we'll start by identifying our zones, which are essentially support and resistance levels on higher time frames. This here is our weekly zone. Here we have another weekly zone. Resistance became support. Here we have another zone, but this one is our all-time high. So we say weekly zone / all-time high. We also have another weekly zone here. And then we have another weekly zone here. Next thing for us to do is identify our trend lines. We can draw a trend line like this. We can draw a trend line here. Let's make it black. This is a weekly trend line. Then we can draw another one like this. This is another weekly trend line. The first weekly trend line we drew has already been violated. The only reason why we're drawing this is just for the sake of being aware of, just for the sake of practice. Ouch. So now we'll go down to the daily time frame and we'll do the exact same thing. We'll identify our zones and then identify any potential trend lines. So we have a zone here. You can see price found resistance on that level multiple times. So this is a daily zone. We have on that zone here, you can see that support became resistance at that level. So this is another daily zone. And that's all for daily zones. And as for trend lines, we can draw some trend lines, but they won't be as far. For example, I can draw a trend line across this point like this, but this trend line has already been violated. Similarly, I could draw another trend line across this point like this. Okay, but this one has not been violated. So this will now be our daily trend line. This will now be our daily trend line. I believe this also counts as a daily zone because price has found support on this level multiple times. So since we're on the daily time frame, we will find our trend origin, which is here. This is the all-time high, the highest point that price has gotten to in recent price action. From this all-time high, price only continue to tank, making this to be our trend origin because it's the origin of the bearish trend. Now let's mark out our structure. So we have an impulsive move here, followed by correctional, followed by an impulsive, followed by a correctional, followed by an impulsive move here, followed by a correctional move here, followed by an impulsive. So what we'll be expecting is the correctional to be followed by a new impulsive move. So what we would be expecting is a correction, probably somewhere between the weekly trend line and the daily trend line, followed by another bearish correction maybe to about the 50,000 level. Okay, so let's mark out our structure. So these are our swing highs or lower highs. So this is not our swing highs or our lower highs. We'll make our swing highs green for the sake of distinguishing between all of the red lines that we've drawn. So this is this lower high. Here we have another lower high. Here we have another lower high. Now we have a lower low here. We'll make our lower low blue. Here we have another lower low. Here we have another lower low. And then here we have another lower low. So once we've identified those, we'll delete this. Using just the green lines and the blue lines, we can now see our lower highs and lower lows, with our green lines being our lower highs and our blue lines being our lower lows. So price is currently in a correctional move. Presumably after this correctional move will be an impulsive move. So we'll identify, so we'll zoom in on all these our green lines. Let's make it a green box. All these are lower highs. We'll go back to all of our lower highs and see if there are any price patterns that are common among these points. Our lower highs are the ones we identified with green lines. And now I'm circling them with green boxes. So now let's go down to the 4-hour time frame. Let's zoom out. Okay, now let's zoom. So what patterns do we notice? I can already see an end pattern. So I can see an end pattern here. Price came up like this. So that's an end pattern here. Similarly here we have another end pattern like this. This end pattern even contains two bearish engulfing candlestick patterns. So it just contains one. Okay, so we've seen an end pattern, and on the second leg of the end pattern is a bearish engulfing candlestick. It happens in the first green box, it happens on the second green box. So now let's go to the third green box. And it happens here again. We can switch to line charts, we can see an end pattern. And on the second leg of this end pattern, there's a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. On the second leg of this end pattern, there's a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. So what I'm looking for is an end pattern that contains a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern on the second leg. So let's reset our price movements. So hold on. So somewhere within this range, somewhere between this, somewhere about here, we are expecting an end pattern to appear here like this. Not only will the end pattern appear here like this, there will also be a slight retracement right before price starts to tank down fully. Let's move this guy here a little bit, and then we're also expecting M4 H4M pattern that contains a bearish engulfing candlestick with long wick to the top side. So we said on the appearance of the H4M pattern that contains bearish engulfing candlestick with long wick to the subside. Okay, so this is what we're expecting, and I'll be taking a sell trade short position at least down to here with my something like this.